and welcome to the Brick of Lis. I'm Lis, and today's video is all about the icon sets, what I love and what I hate. And what I love and what I hate, yeah. It's the love-hate relationship with Lego, and believe me, I have one. I've been injured many times with Lego, including taking half my foot off. Bit drastic, but okay, I kicked something I shouldn't have kicked. He lives over there and he's called the Bee, and he's about 5 foot. And I kicked him accidentally while he was lying down in my living room and didn't see him because I was busy doing something else. Kicked him and pretty much took quite a chunk out of my toe. Anyway, me and the Bee aren't friends. So, welcome back. Let's see what we get up to. This is going to be a interesting video, I think. So, stay tuned. See what's about to come. Bye for now. About these are the dried flowered centerpieces. Now, I am not keen on these, and it's not anything against Lego in any way, shape or form. I don't have standard dry flowers in my house, so I don't think I'd buy a Lego set of dry flowers. Now, after doing a little bit of looking around and investigation, these are actually built very similar to the succulents from what I can gather, with the little black pots underneath, and then obviously everything's put in. Now, I really struggled with the succulents. I couldn't really get them to stand up properly, and I didn't have the force to click them in. I think it was fear of breaking them. Anyway, I like the setup. It's not something I would buy. Now, we scroll down. So, it's an 18 plus. Obviously, it's an icon set, so it's an 18 plus, which is fine. You know, I don't think a child will want this unless they're into flowers or, you know, anything botanical in that sense. 812 pieces, fantastic. And this is your set number 10314. Now it's currently on the UK Lego website for pre-order. So as you can see, they'll start shipping from the 1st of February. So this is the 1st of February set. I like it. I wouldn't initially buy it myself. Obviously, you can see the trees that just look like they're a different colour. Obviously, screens don't always tell you. You know, I call them front fenders of spaceships. So you've got your front fender pieces on either side. Now, I have daffodil sunflowers. I have the sunflowers, and this is what the sunflower is made up of. The exact same thing. These are like your little arms. They look like screwdrivers. Not screwdrivers, spanners. So these are your little spanners. And then these are flippers, obviously. Great use of part here. But this was a royal pain in the butt. Because the second you touch it, you knock them off. And I really struggled with that. To the point where my sunflowers are somewhere. I'm just looking around now to see if I can find them. But I've just found them. Are actually still missing pieces. Because I put them in a nice pretty vase. And the second they touched another flower, they just pretty much fell off. So I really struggled with this. I don't think this was a very good flower construction, but that's just my personal opinion. The rose, I'm guessing this looks like a rose at the back. I quite like the look of that. That looks like it's going to be quite fun to build. And from the looks of it, it looks like it's archways off cars. In more of a subtle, I'm going to say a beige or a pink colour, but it depends on your screen as you're looking at it. So I quite like this. Now I know these, if memory serves me right, because I've got the roses, are the shoulder pads of Stormtroopers. So I think this might look well once it's built. I'm not entirely sure what these are. They look like pipe cleaners, but never mind. I do like the colourings. It's very autumn colours. But this is definitely not a set I would buy, despite the fact that I have the rest of the flowers. I really like this set. I just don't think it's going to be for many people, and I'd be exceptionally surprised if it becomes a wanted after or a sought after set. So we'll see. We'll keep our eyes open for that one. Now let's talk about this little gem. And I say this as a little gem because I actually don't own this, but my son does. And I went to an event and I stole it with permission and took it with us, and the amount of people that talked about it was unbelievable. My son bought this when it first came out and built it, and I remember talking to him halfway through the building site going on. He said it's not complicated, but it gets you a little bit frustrated because you've got to try and get everything into alignment. And I accidentally broke it while it was at the event. So when we brought it back, I got the instructions out and I sat there and I tried to rebuild with no avail. And it was because, for anybody that's broke a Lego model, which is probably every single person that's a Lego fan, down here in the base, it's obviously all connected to this pot. So you're trying to reconnect stuff, and yet you need to twist this piece down here the wrong way, and it was a nightmare, but we got there in the end. We rebuilt it. Now, the one thing I like about this set is these little gems. It's the first time since my Lego journey started that I realised you could use frogs, pink frogs, as flowers, and they actually look really well. Now, I know that on this website, on Lego's website, you can actually see it with the frogs, and I think it looks great. And when my son lent it to me, that's exactly what it was. It was the pink frogs. And for weeks after breaking it, I found pink frogs everywhere. You know, thankfully we knew where they lived. I think this is going to be a sought-after set when it eventually retires. I don't think it's going to retire anytime soon. I really like it. Now, it's an icon set, and it's a plus 18 set. But there's only 878 pieces, so it's not really a long build. It's a slightly technical build, but it's not a long build. And it's 10281 for your set number. And this looks good on display pretty much anywhere in the house. And I keep saying I want one. And my son keeps telling me that I can't have his, even though it's all pre-built and I don't have to build it, and that'd be great. This is an absolutely beautiful set, and it's one of the best I think Lego have made for me. As somebody that does collect the flowers, this is one of the best Lego have created. So this is definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. So let's talk about this. This is one of the most iconic sets, and it is one of the icon sets, obviously. A very expensive icon set, I might add. Now, this is over 10,000 pieces. But let me say this. There's got to be 9,500 pieces of grey. Because there is no way there's more than 500 pieces underneath here of non-grey. This is a massive hunk of grey. This is also one of the hardest sets. Not because it is a hard build, because it is extremely repetitive. Now, I've watched this being built on countless occasions. Have I built it myself? No, because that's an extraordinarily big amount of money. So, would I build it? Probably not. Now, let's talk about here. Okay, so you got the archway. That archway there, that pretty archway, which looks great, I might add. I have seen builders not struggle with this, there's no way, because it's just a pipe. But this is where you would think the stability of this build would be. When in actual fact it's down here, from what I can gather. But this makes it extremely top heavy. Right? And I know it's only Lego, but the higher you build, the more weight you put on the base. So that means that the anchor points to keep it stable is at the bottom. This is why the legs are wider. It's the same for the real thing. But this also makes it vulnerable to wobble up top. And I've seen people struggle with trying to keep the top bits in line, and they've found that they've either moved slightly to the left or the right, and they've spent hours and hours and hours trying to get them back, just to find that they go back into the out of sync or out of alignment resting place, let's call it, where they just want to stay, where obviously it seems to be they work that way. But this is, for me, it's a 4 foot set. It's 4 foot of Lego grey. Now, the Lego Star Wars collection, most of them are grey. So why add another grey massive model into the collection? Now, do I expect them to go back and look at history and find that the original Eiffel Tower before it oxidised, not the Eiffel Tower before it oxidised, was a reddish brown colour? Do I expect them to build it like that? Absolutely not. But do I think that they needed to add a bit of colour in? Oh yes. Now, for those of you that have been to Paris, The Eiffel Tower lights up. Could they have done something like that? Yes. Would it have changed the fact that it's about 9,500 pieces of grey? No. Would it have made it a better build for me? Yes. Now, it's a plus 18 set, and I understand why. The repetitiveness of this set would drive anybody mad. I've seen builders had to do one bag and walk away. Then another member of the family have come in and done another bag and walk away. Because it is so repetitive, it's constantly, right from once the base is over and done with, where all them pretty little trees are, it's all the same thing. So it's set 18. It's an 18 plus set. It's 10,001 pieces, and it's item or set number 1037. I don't think this will ever be a sought after set. I could well be wrong. I know people are absolute massive Lego fans and will go absolutely bananas for every set that comes out. Do I think this will make money in the long run once it retires? I think it will. For the price that it currently is now, at £554, £554.99 to be exact, I think this will go up in value because I think people will look for it once it retires. Whether they retire at any time soon, I do not know, but this was one of the biggest sets of 2022. So let's talk about this beautiful, beautiful Lego model, and I say that with so much feeling and love. This is one of the very, very first Lego sets I built on my own without supervision. And I say that in the nicest of senses because Paul used to have to supervise me and help me out when I got stuck. So I have been building for a couple of years, but building in a very frustrated sense. Paul gifted me, and I say gifted me, bought me, the roses, the sunflowers, the succulents, and the bouquet. I got them all in one day. I brought them home. This took me 2 days to complete. Now, for a novice Lego builder, I don't think that was bad. The pot alone drove me mad. But I got there, and I made it myself. Now, I absolutely love the colour of this pot. It's a very light blue, and it's perfect. And do you know what? Your living room doesn't need to be blue. This fits in absolutely perfect, no matter what. The other thing I like about this is the Demogorgon head out of the Stranger Things. And I didn't know this, and my sister is a Stranger Things fan, and she came and she went, that looks like the Demogorgon head. So I searched it, and actually it is. Again, pink frogs, a different colour, but the pink frogs are there. Now these, as you can see, the rounder parts up here, these are the shoulder pads from your Stormtroopers. Absolutely great use of parts for this. This is one of the best Lego sets Lego ever made. This looks absolutely beautiful no matter where you put it. And the good thing about this is you can change the rotation of heads, I guess. Let's call it that. I move them around, so they're not actually set like this, mine. They're slightly different. So I've got a couple on this side and a couple on that side and one up here and one down here. So it looks a bit more even for me. I absolutely love this Orchid set. So it's an icon set and it's an 18s. And there's 608 pieces and you get the orange brick breaker. Now I know they're called brick separators, but I like a brick breaker, so I'm sticking with brick breaker. And this is 10311. I'm sorry, but for 45 quid, this was worth every single penny. And I think that anybody that loves flowers, this is an ideal gift for them, whether they are a Lego fan or not. The instructions were relatively simple. I, as a novice builder, and I was a novice builder back then, I did not have any issues building this. I had a few complicated moves that I was a bit confused about, but nothing that I didn't have to ask for help. So this is an absolute 100 out of 10 for me. This is definitely one of the best sets Lego have ever made for me. Well, that's it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I really enjoyed making this video. I enjoyed going back to the beginning, with the orchids. I loved that set. Absolutely loved that set. And I couldn't rate it any higher than I absolutely could. You know, I know I gave it 100 out of 10, but that was just being sarcastic. It was definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. I think that LEGO need to bring out more sets like the Orchids. You know, I like the way that they've used different parts. You know, the Demogorgon head, the shoulder pads off the Stormtroopers. Absolutely blew my mind when I found that out. So, that's my rating and my discussion of some of the icon sets. I will be back with another icon set because I've got the Colosseum and the Titanic to do. I absolutely cannot wait to do them. Because they're two sets that I actually really want, but I'm not going to pay for. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.